Okay. All right. Okay, perfect. I'll just hit end and meeting. No, no, no. Please, 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 please. No worries, no worries, no worries. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu. Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for the delay. There's a little bit of overbooking. Um, anyone here? Okay. Let's get let's get right into it, inshallah. So that we don't waste any more time. Bismillah. And can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So we'll jump right into it, but we will have class for about a half an hour. We'll have to cut it a little bit short today. Um, SubhanAllah, this is a bunch of last minute things. All right. First thing, whiteboard. Okay, smooth. So first, I'll start off with writing and a couple of rules, and then we'll go right into the book. Right. Bismillah. Okay, Bismillah. All right. Jam, rules, plural, plural. Jam, as we discussed previously, there are three different types of adad or plurality in Arabic. We have the singular, the dual, and the plural. So today we're going to talk about the three different types of plurals, or sorry, three different types of numbers in the Arabic language. And we'll see, inshallah, some um, some application of that. So first thing, let's go back to the basic for a second, and I'll give you the word Muslim. Muslimun. What does this mean? Give me a holistic answer, not just a one-word translation.
A Muslim,
A little bit more.
a singular Muslim,
So when you
masculine,
say A, but perfect. When you say A, there's no need to say singular because A just means one. A Muslim man. A Muslim man. That's what Muslimun means. Okay? So today we're going to cover these two. Muslimani and مسلمون. Muslimuna. Okay, Muslimani then. What do you think would that mean? Just taking a guess.
Two Muslim men.
Good. Two Muslim men. And that only leaves this last one, Muslimun,
Muslim men.
Muslims, plural. And typically three or more when you use this. Make sense? Okay. So then let's start with mm, let's start with this. So we're going to have three different types of plurals. Okay? So first we'll do plural, then we'll go back to dual. Plurals. The first one is going to be jam مذكر السالم. The second one will be جم جم المذكر ال ال جم المؤنث difficult for us سالم. And the last one will be جم التكسير. All right. You have to write this down as I say it because my pen is not being receptive. Okay. جم المذكر السالم. سالم. جم المؤنث مؤنث السالم and جمع التكسير. جمع التكسير is the last one. Okay? So let's go into this. What do these different ones mean? جمع المذكر السالم and جمع المؤنث السالم. These two are very easy. Okay? This is a for masculine plurals or roles, and these are for feminine plurals. This word as-salim at the end means that it is sound. Okay? How do you make a word into jam mudhakkar as-salim? You have the word Muslim, and you want to turn this into plural. You add two letters at the end, waw and noon. Waw and noon. For feminine jam al-mu'annath salim, you have the word Muslim ma. Musli ma. Okay? Let me write that better. Mus Why am I adding the ta marbuta at the end? Why am I adding this? Feminine. Good. You have the word Muslima. What do you do to it? You add alif and ta. You add alif and ta after you take out the ta marbuta. Okay? So let's show this. Oh, there. Okay. So you have the word Muslim. Now that will be the word Muslim. You just keep the word intact and you add the waw noon. There's no changing of the original word. That is why it's called as-salih. There's no changing of the original word. Muslimuna. So you have Muslim, and then you add this waw and noon at the end. Una. Muslimuna. So if I give you the word kafir, this is singular. What would the plural be? It's the same way. Someone want to
Kafirun.
كافرون. Good. يا أيها قل يا أيها الكافرون. So the word kafir is singular, and then you add the waw noon to make it plural. كافرون. Okay? This word goes the same. We'll go through some examples of the Quran in a second. Muslimuna, same thing you'll see as mu'minuna and uh, other things like that. So you have the word Muslima, and then this alif ta. So how do you make this word? Muslim. You take the original word Muslim. Okay? Then you add the alif and the ta. Okay? So there's no need to add this first time al anyway. That's getting turned into this. Okay? Muslimati. Muslimati. Does that make sense? So I'll show you an ayah from the Quran that makes learning this one pretty easy. Why did I add a kasra? Oh, sorry. That I did that out of habit. It is not Muslimatin. Give me one second. So I'll show you in the Quran. What it is. No, not this one. All right. Just 1 second. While I change screens. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of those ayat. So here in Taraweeh, it's always difficult to finish this ayah without taking a break somewhere towards the end of it. Okay? So this is an ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is distinguishing between males and females, but at the same time he's saying that everything is the same for both men and women. إن المسلمين والمسلمات. Okay? So We will go over the difference in just a second of why this is Muslimina, not Muslimuna. But you see at the end, at the way that it's not just Muslim, right? Muslim, but then there's an addition of two letters at the end, one of them being Nun. Then you have Muslimati. Okay? This alif that's here, it's not fully written, but it's a dagger alif, still showing us that it's the same thing. It's still indicating that that's an alif there. Muslimina, Muslimati. Mu'minina, Mu'minati. Right? And the believing women. Al-Qanitina, Al-Qanitati. Then As-Sadiqina, Was-Sadiqati. الصابرين والصابرات والخاشعين والخاشعات والمتصدقين والمتصدقات والصائمين والصائمات والحافظين فروجهم والحافظات. Okay, so this is حافظين, this is حافظات. تعرف that. والذاكرين الله كثيرا والذاكرات. So الذاكرين and the dhakirat. These are the examples from this ayah. Okay? Do you see how there's a distinction between the male and the female, but when it really boils down to it, the same four letters are in both words. It's just the addition that's at the end that distinguishes them from being masculine or feminine. Does that part make sense? Oh, so assume yes. So let's go back to the um let's go back to where is it at? Here it is. Okay, so let's go back to this for a second, okay? So you have Jam Mudhakkar Salim, Jam Mudhakkar, Jam Mudhakkar Salim, Jam Muannath Salim, okay? Now, in order to properly understand this, there is one additional point of information that we need. We said that there are three cases, right? Raf, Nasr, and Jar. And these are important for deciphering which one is the way that the word is going to look. Okay? So you have and we'll use the word Muslim as our Muslim as our example. Okay? So we have for rough, that's what I've just went over right now. Muslimuna. Musli for a letter. Musli Muslimuna. Okay? This wow that's here is what tells us that this word is marfu'. The wow, just like in other words, the dhamma tells us, in this word, the wow tells us that it is marfu'. Then for muslimat, we will have dhammatain. Muslimatun. Okay? So that's pretty straightforward, simple. Muslimuna, muslimatun. Okay? And that's what tells us that it is marfu'. Now for nasb and jar, both of these, it's the exact same. Um, it's the exact same. So I can even erase this line actually to make it a little bit easier. So for Muslimuna, it will be Muslimina. 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 This ya at the end tells us that it's one of these two, that is either nasb or jar. Now, in context, you'll have to figure out what word would make it either or. You would have to figure out which word makes it nasb or jar, like why it's in that sentence. Okay, so if we go back to that ayah, inna al-muslimina wal-muslimat, it's because of the word inna. Okay, that would be like a level two type of word, which we're not going to cover in this class. But that is why the rest of the words in that sentence are in nasab status, mansub. Okay, then for muslimat, both of the words are going to have kasratain, kasratain, muslimatin. Okay, which tells us the same thing, whether it's in nasab or jar. The word, the alif ta at the end never takes fathatain, two fathas. So you would never say muslimatan. Okay, you would never say muslimatan. It would always come as muslimatun or muslimatin. And same thing for muslimun. It would either be muslimuna or muslimina. Does that make sense? Any questions on that so far? Okay. Can anyone tell me one word that it usually comes in the Quran? It's very, very normal for it to come in the Quran over and over again. That has the alif ta ending. Any guesses? It comes many, many, many times. Just think of a word that you come across that ends in at, in at. Okay, let's see if we come across it. For right now, I'm going to ask you to see if you can identify um what kind of word this is. What kind of word is this? Which one?
الظلمات
Mu'minat. Yes, mu'minat. It's a different word that I'm thinking of. Here it's zulumat. Good. And then
المؤمنين
al-mu'minina. This is in what status? State? Either nasab or jar. Here. These two words. Al-kafirina. It would be kafir normally. And you add the ya and the noon to make it plural. Same thing with munafiq. The original word would be munafiq, and to make it plural, you add the ya and the noon here. So it's either in a raf or jar, sorry, in nasb or jar status in this ayah. Al-kafirina wal-munafiqina. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نكحتم المؤمنات. So again, we get mu'minat. Mu'minat is multiple Muslim women. Okay. Does this make sense? The plurals? Anyone have any questions on this? All right. So now let's do this last part here, which is جمع التكسير. جمع التكسير. جمع التكسير. Okay? And we can translate this as broken plural. Okay? So we have a lot of examples of broken plurals in Arabic in Quran. One of my teachers had mentioned that the majority of plurals actually that will come in the Quran are going to be Jam al-Taksir. Now, this is a little bit more interesting, and most of it is beyond the scope of this class. Um, but that's why we covered how to identify an ism from the beginning. Okay, we covered how to identify an ism from the beginning. Why? I'll tell you this. When you have jam at-taksir, a broken plural, then there are a very great amount of ways that can present itself. There is no one pattern like in jam' al-mudhakkar salim or al-mu'annath salim where you can just give this rule and that's it, you know what it is. There are a lot of what we call in Arabic ozan. Okay? Ozan, or it's singular, wazan. Okay? Which just translates to scale, um, or template in this. I like to describe it more as a template. Okay? So you take a word and you usually put it on this wasn't. Okay? This is the original template of any word. Fa, a, la. Okay, and that's how you would explain what a word is how it's broken up into. Fa'ala. Okay. Now let me tell you, for example, the word kitab. Okay, you have the word kitab bun. Okay, kitab bun. You would say that the wazn of this word is fi'alun. Fi'alun. Okay, because it sounds just like kitabun. The kaf acts as the fa of the word, the ain acts as the ta of the word, and the lam acts as the ba of the word, and then you just have that extra alif that's there. Okay, so fi'alun. Okay, now when you would describe that this word is on the plural of this word kitab is on a different wazan. Okay, then you would describe the wazan as. Okay, let me do it this way. So the word kitabun, its plural, breaks up the original sequence of how this word sounds. Okay? And you would say ku, tu, bun. Now the ki in kitab, the kaf with the kasra, turned into a dhamma, and the alif disappeared. Taga a dhamma as well. So you're breaking with the original sequence of this word is. Anyone want to guess what the wazn of this word would be? Just take the fa, ayn, and lam, and just say it the exact same way that you would say kutubun.
Is it kataba?
No, this is kutubun. Kutubun. Kutubun means books. Kataba is a is a is a verb. It's a fi'l.
So
So
would it be fa'lun?
very good. Fu'ulun. Fu'ulun. Okay? Fu'ulun is not a word. This is not an actual word. Okay, as far as I know. But that's how you describe a wazn. Okay? Does everyone understand what a wazn is?
Can you re-explain what that was again?
Sure. So you have any given word in the Arabic language, okay? And like I described in the first class, all Arabic words will go back to a three-letter base. Okay, a three-letter base. So for example, the word kitabun goes back to the three letters kaf, ha, and ba. Okay, you have qalamun, and that will go back to qaf, lam, and mim. You have muslimun, and that will go back to sin, lam, and mim. All words in Arabic go back to a three-letter base, and some go back to a four-letter base, but most will go back to a three-letter base. In order to describe more about that word, it's been made into an easy like identifier who instead of break down every single word, this word can be turned into this, that, whatever. It's a lot easier to just say the wasn't or the template that this word could change into by describing these three letters fa'ala as going into that base. Okay, so fa'ala is just the three letters that the Arabic scholars came up with to fit into any word. So you would say this word kitabun has three base letters, and the fa in this word is kaf, meaning the first letter. Ain is the ta, which is the second letter, and the lam is the ba, which is the third letter. All right. So everything here on the right side, fi'alun and fu'ulun, these are not actual words, but they're just a representation uh, of what they're just a representation of what the word looks like at its base form, so that other words can also be applied to that same template. Okay. Wasn't, yes, in this sense, wasn't translates to template. That's not like an official translation. That's how I translate it when I teach it, because it's a lot easier to understand the word template than scale. In this context. Um, let pen go. So does that make sense? So the template for this word kutubun is fu'ulun. Okay, and I just gave you, and then for kitabun it's fi'alun. Meaning now, for example, if I give you any three random letters, okay, if I give you three random letters, let's say Sad, Ra, and Ya. Okay. Mm, No, I don't want to use a Ya. I'm trying to make sure it's not an actual word, but let's say Ba, Sad, Ra, Ba. Okay, just put this here. You have Sad, Ra, and Ba. And I told you that this Sad, Ra, and Ba, when these three letters come, then as a noun, it comes in the format or template of fi'al. So then you would take these three letters and you would say sirab, sirab. And then its plural would come in the wazn of fu'ulun. So you would say surubun. Surubun. Okay? Just making stuff up here. But just to make that a little bit easier for you to understand. Does this part make sense? Very good. So now undoing some of this now, there are many different wazans or ozan for jam' al-taksir. There are many different ozan for jam' al-taksir. And it is actually a more advanced tactic to teach all of the different ozan. But once you start to learn more vocabulary, what you will do over time is just memorize the plural version of that word. Okay, you just memorize the plural version of that word, and then you will come to see that that there's a connection between these two, and that's how you build on your vocabulary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some words right now, um, and we will just quickly discuss this. So we'll just see how this plays out. Okay, you have the word waladun. Okay, waladun. I'm not going to write all of them. I'll just say them. You have the word waladun. This is a word that we went over. What is the plural of waladun? If anyone knows. Good. Olad. Olad. All right. So if I was to say that this was a wazan, I would say af'al. Af'al. That's the wazan. Now let me give you a completely different one. Okay? You have the word rajulun. Okay? Grown man. What is the plural of rajulun? It is rijal. Okay? So now the wasn't here would be fi'al. In the first one, it's af'al. In the second one, it is fi'al. Fi'al. Okay? So these are just two of the ones that we have seen. And in the next couple of chapters, we're going to see even more. So let me just read you some words, and we'll see how the plurals are. You don't have to write all of these down. I'll take a picture of this and put it on the WhatsApp group. Waladun, its plural is awladun. Then you have amrun, its plural is umurun. Umurun. Okay? So very drastically different. Then you have rabbun, like Rabbul Alameen. Its plural is arbab. All of these words they come in the Quran. Then you have nabiyun. Anyone want to say the plural of that? Nabiyun. Okay, so one plural of that is anbiya. Anbiya. That is jam' taksir. But this word also comes as jam' mudhakkar salim. Okay? Does anyone know what that is? Also comes in the Quran. Nabiyuna. Nabiyuna or nabiyina, like we just saw in the previous ayat. Then we have mal, which means the money or wealth. And its plural is amwal. Amwal. So just like af'al. And then we have ruhun. Ruhun, which is soul. Its plural is arwah. Arwah. Souls. Okay? So these are the different types of words that will come in the Quran, and that we will see. I'll take a picture of this and then share it on our WhatsApp group so that you guys can take a look at that, and you'll also be able to learn some of the some more vocabulary while you're at it. Okay? But for today, that'll be all. Um, and inshallah, we'll take over from Thursday. It's likely that next week, because next week is the last week of class, I might have to do one more class just so that we can finish off the book. But next Thursday, the final day, we won't be covering any part of the book. We'll just be going through the Quran to practice the things that we have learned so far. So I encourage you to come to that last class, inshallah. هذا وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. If you haven't been able to do so yet, send me the result, what is it? The completed quiz, and I'll try to get them back to you by tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.